What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss the fourth stimulus package update, stimulus check update, daily news, everything going on here in our country, in Washington, D.C., with our economy, money, investing, the stock market, everything you need to know about on a daily basis. Remember that new videos come out here on our YouTube channel at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, make sure to subscribe down below. It's completely free to do so. I will keep you up to date with everything going on here in our country on a daily basis. And if you find these videos helpful, don't forget to smash the like button for us down below. Merry Christmas, happy holidays. Hope you had a wonderful Christmas yesterday. And yeah, we have our little son Julian is upstairs playing with his toys. And my wife's dropping toys in the background, if you heard that. In fact, my wife was just laughing that our son Julian last night put all his toys away in the right places. And she said, "My son is just like me." So, yeah, with visions of sugar plums dancing in his head. So, to be young again, right? Remember that, being young and just dreaming of toys and not having a care in the world, but that. Those were the days, right? Yeah. Just think about being young again, having unlimited energy. That kid, that young boy never runs out of energy. It's just what a time to be alive, right? All right, let's jump right in. We got a lot to cover. Here we go. Also, Senator Joe Manchin has changed his mind about several different things. We're going to be going over that in this video, so make sure to watch all the way to the end. Well, as Christmas is over, the next holiday here, not that far away, a few days away, New Year's celebration are being canceled across the globe because of the virus surge. Yeah, because of Omicron, the new virus variant, being canceled across the globe. That's right. The celebration in New York City is still happening, but with major restrictions. That's right. And you're not going to believe this. Yeah. Imagine celebrations being completely canceled. If I remember correctly, last year, um, help me recall this, Laurel. Last year, that there was no people allowed in Times Square. Just a few select people were. Yeah, there was only like a few people there last year in Times Square. And boy, what a time to be alive! It's just a crazy time, man. It's just who would have guessed this a few years ago that this is what we would be going through. And we're still not back to normal. And in fact, cases are near an all-time high at this point, and in some states at an all-time high. Yeah, check this out. Large cities across the world are canceling their New Year's Eve celebrations due to the spread of the Omicron variant and the virus, while other cities are forging ahead with their plans. The iconic New Year's Eve celebration in New York City will go ahead as scheduled, but will be, quote, scaled back. New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio said, as party goers will have to be fully vaccinated and wear face masks and practice social distancing measures amid the spread of the Omicron variant. Yeah, so significant restrictions there. They have to be fully vaccinated. They have to wear face masks and have to practice social distancing measures. So we're gonna have to see what that means here, because I don't think we're gonna see thousands and thousands of people crammed together here in New York City like we normally would, because, well, I don't think that means practicing social distancing measures, does it? When you think of, thousands and thousands, you see this picture here, thousands of people crammed together here, that doesn't abide by social distancing measures. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, are they going to have 6 foot spaces between each person? I mean, what this entails, I'm not sure. And everybody has to be fully vaccinated and wear a face mask. So, are they going to have people checking your status at the gate? There's going to have to be a lot of gates to check that because, well, think about all the entrances to that. It's like every city block, right? There's like so it's got to be dozens and dozens of entrances there. What a time we live in, man. It's just it's the never-ending saga, right? Here we go into 2022. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think by next Christmas, 2022, do you think this will be over? Or do you think we'll still be dealing with this next Christmas? Do you think I'll be wishing you guys Merry Christmas next year and we'll still be like, record virus cases now in 2022 for 2022 Christmas going into 2023? What a thought, right? What a thought. Meanwhile, there will be no fireworks show in Athens, Greece this year, and authorities canceled all local Christmas and New Year's Eve events. In Germany, the German cities of Berlin, Frankfurt, and Munich have all canceled their fireworks celebrations and have prohibited large gatherings due to a feared fifth wave of the virus. Celebrations have been canceled in Edinburgh, Scotland, London, England, New Delhi, India, Paris, France, and Rome, Italy. Now, in a very controversial move, the White House is removing the travel ban from the 7 or so countries from South Africa here that will resume on December 31st. And a lot of people are saying that why are they doing this so soon when things are getting really, really bad, things are getting worse. And I mean, you can let me know your thoughts in the comments. I don't know. I mean, if you think about why they did this travel ban to begin with, to prevent the spread, where it originated there, or it is thought to originate, where there's a huge outbreak in South Africa, why would they reinstate the travel ban? Why would they lift it? Why would they get rid of it now? Just a few weeks later, right? It doesn't really make any sense to me. Now, remember, if you're a U.S. citizen, you can still fly back because it's your home. This is for non-U.S. residents. The Biden administration is lifting its ban on air travel from the U.S. from 8 African countries, reversing restrictions President Biden announced last month, shortly after the discovery of the Omicron variant. The travel ban applied to these 8 African countries: Botswana, Zimbabwe, Namibia, Lesotho, Eswatini, Mozambique, and Malawi. The president initially said the restriction was, quote, a precautionary measure until we have more information. But now, within a few weeks of the Omicron variant, because it is now the dominant variant in the US, they have removed the travel restriction. Quote, at the time these restrictions were put in place, it was clear that there was a widespread community transmission in South Africa, as well as a great deal of cross-border travel in the region, and little surveillance in many of the countries near South Africa, a senior administration official told Fox News. We will lift these restrictions now effective Friday, December 31st. The official said that the president is lifting the travel ban because there's more information now about the Omicron variant, and because Omicron is so pervasive in the US, international travelers from these countries will not have a significant impact on US cases. So let me know your thoughts on this. Do you agree with this? Do you disagree with it? Do you think it's time to lift it? I don't know. My thoughts are I would keep it in place. I wouldn't want to have more international travelers coming from a hotspot that aren't US residents, spreading it even more into the country. That's just my thoughts. Of course, you may have a different opinion, which is totally okay. But that's just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments. The White House is back to negotiating with Senator Joe Manchin very, very heavily. In fact, President Biden has spoken to Senator Joe Manchin several times personally. And in fact, President Biden said that he thinks they're going to be able to get a deal done. Check this out. Senator Joe Manchin told the White House that he would now support a billionaire's wealth tax, something he publicly slammed 2 months ago. So this is another piece now that he tells the White House that he will now support a tax on billionaires, something that a couple months ago he wouldn't support. So this is apparently something they might be able to, this is kind of a pay for a tax on billionaires that they might be able to include in the bill. To It's a pay for on billionaires. It's like an extra 2% or so, depending on how they do it, to tax billionaires on their wealth to help them pay their quote fair share of taxes. Something that Joe Manchin did not support a few months ago and apparently now does support. So Joe Manchin is coming around on several pieces of the bill. He's not necessarily just a flat no. They're negotiating with him, and he's actually changing his mind on several items. So, yeah, they actually are negotiating with him, and Joe Manchin is coming around. So, in fact, you can see here Senator Joe Manchin told the White House this week that he supported imposing some sort of wealth tax on billionaires, despite criticizing the idea 2 months ago, the Washington Post reported. Manchin said he would support such a tax as part of President Joe Biden's Build Back Better economic program, the Post reported, citing 3 people familiar with the discussion. So they are making progress on this, despite what Joe Manchin said a week or two ago. And this just is kind of the go back and forth of negotiations, right? And this means it's just hey, it's part of negotiations, right? And they're going to have to work with Joe Manchin to find a common ground to get things done. Biden is currently trying to court Manchin's support for his flagship economic package. Manchin told Fox News Sunday on December 19th he could not vote for the current $2 trillion version of the agenda, putting its future in doubt as the bill needs unanimous support from Democratic senators to pass. Manchin instead made Biden a $1.8 trillion counteroffer, which excluded several key components such as a monthly child tax credit checks to families. Note there, he says, which excluded several key components such as monthly child tax credit checks to families. So that's very interesting there. So yeah, you can see here this headline. Senator Joe Manchin apparently may have made a big $1.8 trillion pitch to Biden that excludes monthly child tax credit checks to families. Now, just my thoughts on the matter, I don't think the other Democrats are going to go for this. Just kind of knowing what I know, and just I'm involved in this every single day, I don't think they're going to be able to get enough support to pass the bill. I don't think they're going to be able to get all the Democrats' votes without passing the monthly child tax credits, unless Biden passes it through executive order, or if Biden passes it on a standalone bill with Republicans, which they are in talks with. I had a recent story, I don't know, a few days ago where we talked that even Mitch McConnell said that they will be considering possibly doing a standalone vote with Republicans, and Mitt Romney said that they should pass Mitt Romney's version of the bill. He's a Republican senator. He has his own version of the child tax credit bill, which is actually more money. It's $250 for children 6 through 17 and $350 for children under the age of 6. I believe that's how it works. So it's the same money for children over 6, but $50 more for children under six, I think his bill works out to be. So it's kind of similar. It's actually a little bit more. Of course, I think there's work requirements in there, and of course, it's a little bit different there. Um, so there is some options there. There is some report from or support from Republicans there for the child tax credits. They would need 10 votes from Republicans to pass the child tax credits. No votes from Republicans in the House. I mean, you could get votes from Republicans in the House, but theoretically, the Democrats can pass anything in the House on their own. Or you could go a bipartisan route if you lose Democratic votes because you have something controversial. You could go a half-half vote in the House. But Democrats could pass something in the House on their own. But in the Senate, if you go with a standalone version, then you need at least 10 votes in the House, in the Senate. Sorry, in the Senate. We also have Democratic leader Pramila Jayapal, who is one of the most powerful people in the House of Representatives. She's the leader of the Democratic Progressive Caucus, which is the leader of 96 Democrats in the House. She's actually thought to be probably the front runner for the next Speaker of the House when Nancy Pelosi retires, which could be the end of this term or the end of next term if Nancy Pelosi runs again and if she wins again. Um, so, I mean, Nancy Pelosi, she's getting up there in age. So is Mitch McConnell, but Mitch McConnell just won a 6-year term. So he's in there for like 5 more years. But Nancy Pelosi says she's going to be retiring sometime soon. And Pramila Jayapal is expected to be one of the front runners for that. She's already the leader of the Progressive Caucus, 96 Democrats in the House. Pramila Jayapal has called upon President Biden to start passing things through presidential executive order. So the White House had an immediate response to Jen Psaki that day before the president probably even heard from Pramila Jayapal, saying that, well, they hadn't heard from it yet. This was just like an immediate response, but the president has passed multiple executive orders in the past and that they will be looking into it. And then, like the next day or so, they did pass the presidential order to pass a stimulus relief for the student loan extension. And that helped out about 40 some million people. So I would assume that they're probably deciding, kind of strategizing, figuring out maybe what they can and cannot do. Remember, passing stimulus or pieces of stimulus or parts of stimulus or what they could maybe enact through presidential executive order, it's a very kind of gray area. You'll probably see some people say they can do that, they can't do that. But former President Donald Trump did do that with his executive order with the $300 weekly checks for 6 weeks with the unemployment checks. He just chose to choose unemployment checks. They could have went out to anybody. They could have went out to seniors. They could have went out to low income people. They could have went out to children. He just chose to do them for people on unemployment. They could have went out to everybody if they wanted to. Instead of $1,800, it could have been $200, $1,000. It could have been anything. That's just who he chose to. And they used untapped money from the disaster relief fund. Now remember that right now there is between 500 and 800 billion dollars of leftover stimulus money. Okay, that's already approved by Congress from stimulus packages. Okay, it's hard to get an exact number because, well, the Treasury Department doesn't exactly report to me and give me these numbers. They probably should, because then I'd be able to give you the exact numbers. So maybe if you know anybody from the Treasury Department, tell them to contact me. Yeah, I know that's not going to happen, but there's somewhere between 500 and 800 billion dollars of untapped, unspent, already approved stimulus money. I've seen a report, it was 500 plus, and then I've seen another report that we went over here the last few days. If you remember, I showed it on camera. It was like $800 billion of unspent stimulus money. So that could be passed or used, I should say, through executive order, where basically the president could say, all right, this money's already been approved by Congress. I'm going to use an executive order to reappropriate it through executive order and basically kind of do what former President Donald Trump did. He could use it for stimulus checks for adults, uh, for stimulus checks for the child tax credits. He could do whatever they decide on, right? Or he could just pass pieces and parts of the Build Back Better package or the other new package they're talking about, stimulus virus relief, pandemic relief. So there's a lot of possibilities here going into 2022. With the virus kind of at its worst it's ever been in some states, in some areas, this does kind of make sense. With the economy kind of going into a downward trend because of how bad it is. I mean, they can't even staff planes, right? I mean, hundreds and hundreds of planes are canceled. I mean, we're seeing businesses, I mean, the Rockettes are canceled. I mean, think about all the businesses that are struggling right now. People are struggling because of how bad this virus is, right? And if you think about stimulus package one, we go back to just stimulus check one. Why was that? Why was there a stimulus check? Because of the virus, because of the pandemic, right? If there was no pandemic, if there was no virus, we wouldn't even be having these discussions, right? It's all because of this pandemic, because of this virus, right? So those kind of go hand in hand, right? Virus, pandemic, stimulus package, stimulus check, relief, right? And they also got to try to, get rid of the virus, do whatever they can, right? Um, I mean, that's why we have science and medical professionals try to get rid of it. We want to hope that they can cure it, eradicate it, like polio and stuff someday. Hopefully, that's the goal, right? At least sometime in the future. That's what we're hoping for. So we'll have to see. Right now, it's not doing that well. But that's what we hope to see in the future. Maybe we'll have some breakthroughs at some point in the future as they try to improve. Um, we'll have to see here. But I'm going to keep you up to date here with everything. Make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't joined our community of subscribers yet. It's literally free to do so. There's no reason not to. All you need to do is literally click the subscribe button and then click the bell icon to get reminders when we go live every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will keep you up to date with everything going on here in our country. You can click here to watch my newest video next. And if you didn't see our $2,000 giveaway, our contest winners, you can click here to watch that about the $2,000. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.